Okay guys, so this vlog is going to be half story time, half product review. This is Sexy. Sexy is an LG Xenon and I've had him for a little over 2 years now. Now, about 4 or 5 months ago, Sexy started to get a little sick, and I realized it because every time I was in a phone call, he would shut off after a minute or two, and I would turn him back on and there'd only be 1 bar of battery left. And it actually got so bad that it reached the point where, like, I literally had to have him on life support plugged into his charger in order to talk on the phone, otherwise I couldn't finish a conversation. Of course, my mother didn't believe this. She thought I was hanging up on her on purpose. Dead batteries ruin family relationships! So finally I talked to my dad about it, since he's the tech-savvy guy of the family, and he told me that Sexy had lived a long, full life and that it was time for a new phone. The good news was that my contract was up, so I was due for a new phone anyway. Now, I don't know the specifics behind a cell phone contract or why you're only allowed to get certain phones once your contract ends, but basically my options were the LG Neon 2, the Samsung, I actually don't know what this is, I just know it's a Samsung, and there was also a Pantech that I could have gotten, but I kind of ruled the Pantech out right away because it would have costed my parents $50, and these two were only like $10 each, and now that I'm in college and they're paying tuition, I feel really guilty whenever my parents buy me expensive things. So basically, my choices were between the Neon 2 and the Samsung whatever this is. Now, as you can see, the Samsung is quite a bit bigger than the Neon 2, and I keep my phone in a little, like, side pouch thing next to my camera, so, and it's kind of cramped, like, there's not a whole lot of room, so for me, the size thing was a bit of an issue, and also because Sexy is also LG, so I'm like, oh, well, if I get another LG phone, then all the cords and accessories and stuff that I bought for Sexy will also work for the Neon 2. So I got the Neon 2. Let me take this opportunity to offer some advice to anyone who might be watching. Never, ever, ever buy a phone without playing with a working model first. When I bought Sexy, I played with another, I played with a demo version of an LG Xenon in the store. So I knew, even before I purchased this phone, that I was going to love it. The Neon 2 and the Samsung, they didn't have working models. I had to just look at, like, dead versions of the phones and just by their hardware alone decide which one I preferred. So I kept Sexy on life support for another 3 business days while I waited for my Neon 2 to arrive in the mail. Now my Neon 2 actually arrived the day before I went to go see Deathly Hallows Part 2. So that little phone actually had to undergo a major test as soon as it was in my possession, because, you know, you gotta call your friends to meet up with them, to, you know, set up what time you're gonna wait in line, you know, worry about food and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So this guy, he needed to impress me right away. Unfortunately, the Neon 2 did not impress me. In fact, as soon as I saw it, I was disappointed. Because, okay, look at this phone. I ordered a blue phone, right? The model I was looking at in the store was red, and, you know, the phone was red. So I assumed that if I ordered a blue model, that it would be blue. But no, look at this thing. Okay, front, back. This thing is black, okay? This phone is black. The only time you see the blue is when it is open to full keyboard mode, and even then then you can see there's orange, well, maybe you can't see on the camera, but there's orange in the buttons, and for anyone who's taken a basic art class, orange is the opposite of blue. And so it's not even a pretty blue, too. Like, look at Sexy, okay? Sexy is a blue phone. Here, you can see it on the back better. Look at that. That is a gorgeous blue. That is the color blue a phone should be. Now, this is like a pale baby pastel blue, and then it's diluted with orange on a phone that's 90% black. So, and a phone, you know what, and forgive me for being shallow, okay, but a phone is a very personal thing. If I'm gonna carry this around in my pocket every day and use it to get a hold of all the people I care about, it needs to reflect my personality. It needs to be cute. I need to enjoy looking at it. Sexy is a gorgeous freaking phone. Sexy is beautiful. Neon 2, this is not beautiful. It's not beautiful. Another thing that really bugged me about the Neon 2 was the touch screen. Cause see, Sexy, my Xenon has a full touch screen, and Sexy is actually the first touchscreen phone I've ever owned, and I didn't realize how much I actually loved the touchscreen until I didn't have it anymore. Because see, the Neon 2, when you buy it, they tell you that it's a touchscreen, but in reality, the only place the touchscreen works is when you're dialing. So, if you want to, like, call someone, you can touchscreen their number in, but other than that, the touchscreen doesn't work anywhere else on the phone. So, your only choice as far as navigation is concerned is to either use the little arrow buttons on the full keyboard, which is what I prefer to do, or you use this little joysticky knobby thing in the middle, which leads me to the thing I hated most about that stupid phone. That frickin' little knobby joysticky, I don't even know what it's supposed to be called, but that thing in the middle, oh my god, so many problems, oh my god, it's really hard to use, because you're supposed to use it to, like, navigate, really hard to navigate with, and also, it's also a button, like, it doesn't just, like, move, you can also press it, and, and so, when you press it, it takes you to whatever icon is highlighted. Well, apparently, the default icon on the home screen takes you to the internet, and I don't have a data plan, so I kept, that button kept getting pressed while the phone was in my pocket, and it kept putting me on the mobile browser, which I cannot afford. Oh, and that leads me to another thing. Okay. Sexy, let me show you. Right there, that is a lock button. You press it, the phone locks. You press it again, it unlocks. This prevents you from butt dialing. Now, for reasons I cannot possibly fathom, the Neon 2 does not have a lock button. The only way to lock it is, because you know your phone, you open it and it's like, oh, I'm ready to be a phone. And then you close it and normally this is when you'd want to lock it. Well, for the Neon 2, since it doesn't have a button, the only way to lock it is after you close it to just wait until it locks automatically. And so it was like, I would close it and then I would put it in my pocket, and I think, oh, wait for it to lock. Well, before it locks, stupid little knobby joysticky thingy gets pressed and puts me on the internet without me knowing it. So, to get the lack of a lock button and the knobby joysticky thingy were like conspiring together to make me pocket dial the internet, and just, I raged so many times over just that one thing, because it kept happening. So after several hours of trying to delude myself into believing that I simply needed to get used to it, I embraced the fact that I really, really hated that phone. So then I realized that I basically had three options. Option number 1 was to continue using the Neon 2 for God knows how many years, like someone in a marriage that they deeply regret. Option number 2 was to send it back and get the Samsung, which the Samsung phone I showed you earlier was actually my mom's, because her contract was up too, and that was the phone she ended up getting. So I played with my mom's phone for a while, and I liked the Samsung infinitely times more than I liked the Neon 2. I mean, I still wasn't like crazy about it, but it was a really good phone. You know, not as good as my Xenon, but a million times better than the Neon 2. So that was the option I was leaning toward for a while. And then of course option number 3 was the Pantech, which I hadn't even looked at or played with yet, but so I don't know, I might have loved it. I don't know. I've never even seen it, but I was still hesitant about making my parents pay $50. So at that moment in time, after the whole Harry Potter ordeal, I was thinking, okay, I better get the Samsung. But then came the fateful moment when I had an epiphany. I realized that because Sexy and the Neon 2 were both LG phones, there was a pretty good chance that they had similar types of batteries, because Sexy, I mean, for being a 2-year-old phone, he is still in remarkably good shape. The only thing wrong with him was his battery. His battery was worn out. So I'm like, you know what? I wonder if I can just switch the batteries and just, you know, take the battery of the Neon 2, stick it in Sexy. Buying the Neon 2 was cheaper than buying a new battery, and if I do that, it'll be essentially the same as getting a new battery, so why not try it? And wouldn't you believe it, my mad scientist moment totally worked. All I did was swap the batteries, and bam! Sexy lives! In conclusion, if you're thinking about buying an LG phone, this is the LG Xenon. On a scale of 1 to 5 stars, I give it 20 rainbows made of muffins and Slurpees and ice cream and cake and Jesus and Gandhi. And this is the LG Neon 2. On a scale of 1 to 5 stars, I give it 1 ginormous, fresh, steaming, maggot-infested pile of rhinoceros shit. Rhinoceros shit! Well, I hope you've enjoyed my product review / dramatic retelling of what led me to give 2 phones a heart transplant, essentially. Now go away. Me and Sexy need some alone time.
You just saw a video by Froggy Phevoli. Thank you so much for your view. You just saw